Hello guys and welcome to my brand new video where I will be going to share my reviews, my scores, my opinion and my thoughts on the dances of City Come Dancing 2020 week 2. So let's kick off with the first couple of the evening, Max and Diane and the jive. I truly loved his energy and his musicality. Max didn't miss a beat. He was totally in sync with Diane all the way through and he captured the character of the dance amazingly well. I absolutely love this song and for me he gave a very good performance. I could see again how determined he was, and that is the secret for reaching success on City Come Dancing. Be better and better and better each and every week. Technique wise, his kicks could have been sharper and his jive chasses weren't done correctly because they were lacking hip action and closing the feet on count up. For those who don't know, each jive chasse has the following count. We count 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. So on count up, the dancer has to close his feet together. Having said that, it was a lovely jive, pretty clean, pretty strong, joyful, and my score is a 6. And let's move on to Clara and Aliash and the Venus Waltz. Super stylish choreography, very expressive. They felt each other amazingly well. It was like watching a meaningful dialogue of two characters from a dark and spooky world. Clara's musicality was truly magnificent. However, a lot of problems started as soon as she took hold with Aliash because the actual Venus Waltz section was full of errors. Although she did step from the heel while moving forward most of the time, which is so essential in ballroom, it was lacking drive through the feet. There was no sway and her head position wasn't great as well. They also broke hold during the dance, which is little. I thought that Clara's expression, characterization, synchronization with Aliash, and the musicality were all outstanding, really outstanding. However, technically it was pretty weak, and my score for this Venus Waltz will be a 5. And let's continue with Bill and Oti and the Quick Step. It was the biggest surprise of the evening without any doubt. Who could foresee such high quality of dancing? It was so entertaining but also unbelievably strong. Ballroom dancing wise, terrific frame and posture, super clean, fast and precise footwork. Oti has done magic with Bill, magic that is stronger and more powerful than every Halloween spell. I'm truly amazed. To say the truth, I didn't expect that. I haven't thought in a million years that it will be that good. From poor to brilliant in one week. It just shows how much dedicated Bill is and how much Oti is magnificent as a pro. On the negative side, because I have to be negative and a bit nitpicking, so on the negative side, for me, Bill, he was a bit tense and he was too concentrated on getting everything right that he wasn't totally portraying the character of the dance. In addition, they also broke hold during the dance, which is little. Having said that, it was a wow of a Quick Step. Knowing how much focus and determination Bill has, I cannot wait to see what he's going to bring to the dance floor next week. And I will score this Quick Step a 7. And let's continue with JJ and Amy and the Pas Doble. Powerful, dramatic, full of intention, full of purpose, as a passo doble should be. It was definitely better than last week. JJ's improvement is really, really visible. I absolutely loved his tilted hips, but he should have worked even more on his shaping and even more on his arm movements. Because this dance was totally lacking flamenco movement of the arms. The flamenco movement of the arms is very, very important in the passo doble. Nevertheless, I loved his determination. I noticed that his confidence has grown, his musicality was excellent, his partnership with Amy was once again very, very strong. His work with the cape was superb, and above all, those tilted hips were absolutely beautiful. He just needs to work more on softness and on fluidity, but JJ is on the right track in my opinion. He is truly an inspiring person, and I believe in him, and I will score this passo doble a 6. And let's continue with Jamie and Karen and the American Smooth. Great song, very beautiful outfits, excellent musicality, excellent characterization. From that perspective, Jamie has done an excellent job. His moves out of hold and his moves in hold were like night and day, as the song said, because out of hold it was all pretty smooth and super stylish, but in hold it was filled with mistakes. Sadly, all the sections out of hold were pretty much flawless, but in hold his actual foxtrot was totally lacking drive, sway and correct footwork. There was not a single heel lead. He wasn't pushing hard enough through the floor while taking the steps, and there was dropping as well. If he could only mastered the proper technique of the foxtrot as he mastered all the sections out of hold, it could have been really brilliant, but as I said, the sections in hold were quite poor, and my score for this American Smooth is a 5. And let's continue with Maisie and Gorka and the tango. Wow, 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 and wow again. This easily could have been the best tango ever on Strictly Come Dancing. It was full on, it was dynamic, it was super sharp, it had terrific musicality, it had loads of proper competitive ballroom tango content. Maisie has created some breathtaking lines. Her top line and her head position were absolutely sensational. They were absolutely to die for. It was sharp as the sharpest sword in the world, and the technicality was just fantastic. She kept glued to Gorka all the way through, and her position and shapes were at an unbelievably high standard. I am totally speechless. She's so talented, and Gorka has done a magnificent job with her. Gorka is doing a magnificent job with her. I didn't mind the two tiny wobbles during the spins at the end of the dance, because they were for me almost unnoticeable, but she did miss one or two heel leads, and that's why I can't give her a 10. But what can I say? Really phenomenal, mesmerizing, pure art of ballroom dancing. Gorgeous, completely gorgeous and sensational. And my score for these breathtaking tango, it's a 9. First 9 from me this series. And let's continue with Jackie and Antoinette's Samba. Jackie was definitely the weakest link in week 2. This samba reminded me very much of Susan Constantine's samba. It was very heavy, it had some bizarre moments. The thing that they did instead of a samba roll, for example, it was totally lacking hip action, and she was dancing with both of her knees bent probably the whole time, which is incorrect because usually in samba the moving leg is bent and the other one is kept straight. In addition, I also found this routine quite repetitive and a bit dull in terms of content. The whole last section was just messing about. The only step that she did correctly, more or less, was the quarter jacka. I wasn't really surprised that she went home because she was truly the weakest out of all the contestants, and my score for this samba is just a 3. And let's continue with Harvey and Jeanette and the Venus Balls. They both look gorgeous and unbelievably stylish and super stunning. Harvey is so talented. He was oozing gracefulness, style, temper, and musicality, and he has created some wonderful lines. He stepped from the heel while moving forward, and he even created sway, which is unbelievably fantastic for a male celebrity. Moreover, in his first ballroom dance, like OMG. This standing spin, magnificent. That beautiful pivot. His footwork was really beautiful. Having said that, his frame was incorrect because it was a bit dropped and his left arm was parallel to the floor, and I wanted to see a bit more drive into the floor, but other than that it was really superb. And my score for these Venus Balls is an 8. And let's continue with Ranveer and Giovanni and the Quickstep. I really love this partnership. The connection between Ranveer and Giovanni is so bright and so positive, and it definitely shows on the dance floor. Ranveer's musicality was spot on. She was glued to Giovanni the whole time, and every time she was in hold, which is brilliant. Her frame and her upper body were incredible. It's not trivial for a non-dancer, especially in week 2. Really amazing. I also loved the synchronization between the two of them. However, in the actual quick step section, Ranveer's footwork was poor. It was totally lacking heel leads, and she didn't push her feet hard enough into the floor, and they also broke hold during the dance, which is little. For the next ballroom dance, I want her to keep that beautiful, really beautiful frame and upper body, but at the same time I want her to work hard on her footwork, and I will score this quick step a 6. And let's continue with Nicole and Katia and the street dance. I love this song so much. I am not keen on this whole thing of couple choice because I want the show to stick with ballroom and Latin dances. But there we go. It didn't really touch me. I didn't like it really, to be honest. It wasn't very exciting or unusually creative for me. I did like the connection between the two of them, and I did like how Nicola told the story through her movements, but the whole section with the flags bothered me because it had nothing to do with street dance. Nicola wasn't always in sync with Katia, and the actual street dance moves were a bit underwhelming for me. they were a bit repetitive and too basic for my taste. I loved the idea of the dance as a whole, but the whole execution left me a bit cold, underwhelmed. I really hope to see Nicola showing some great stuff doing a proper ballroom and Latin dances. And for these three dances, my score is a 6. And let's continue with, we have 2 couples left, and let's continue with Caroline and Jonas and the Paso Doble. Thank goodness, finally a traditional song. Both Caroline and Jonas looked amazingly well. Caroline has produced some very clean lines, but I wanted to see much more shaping, and also I wanted to see the tilted hip action that was completely missing. I wanted to see a bit more flamenco movement with the hands, and her footwork was a bit suspicious here and there. As a whole, it was a wonderful routine, very clean, dramatic, but it wasn't very strong in terms of technique. Caroline has all it takes to produce fantastic numbers, in my opinion, but she needs to step up her game, and I will score this Paso Doble a 6. And last but not least, Jason and Luba and the salsa. I loved their outfits and I absolutely adore this song, but the actual number was quite disappointing. His steps were too big and it was totally lacking hip action, which is so essential in this dance. His smile is infectious. There was a good amount of actual salsa content in his routine. His synchronization with Luba was excellent and his feel for the rhythm was lovely, but the actual footwork was poor. The most important thing in salsa is constantly creating the figure 8 with the hips, and as much as he was into this dance in terms of musicality and performance, it was all on the stompy side, totally lacking the proper technique with salsa, and shame on the mistake at the end. I think ballroom suits Jason better, but it's going to be a Paso Doble next week, so I'm really hope that his abilities to work with his hips will be significantly better next. It's not next week, this Saturday on Movie Week. And my score for this salsa, for the first salsa of the series, it's a 5. Thank you for watching. I really hope you have enjoyed. Don't forget to subscribe and see you soon. Goodbye.